Martin Houston, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in T-Town.
Doing well, Ryan. I guess the better question is, how are you doing out there in the big city of Santa Clara, San Francisco, California, wherever you're at, man?
Well, and I think what we're doing is we're calling it Bay Area 2019, but we're in San Jose. The stadium is in Santa Clara, and there's like 3 different airports that fly in. You got Oakland, San Fran, and then San Jose. But and don't even ask me what time it is because I don't know. I'm trying to make sure because I keep saying that it's 3:30, but really it's 5:30 back in Tuscaloosa, and we're going until 7. I keep having to ask Marquise, what time are we going on tomorrow? Yeah, and he keeps reminding me we're going to be live at 4 o'clock. And hey, are you and I going to do something on Facebook? And I mean, it's our first chance to talk in a couple of days, man. Are we going to do something Facebook Live? Are we still going to do that?
Yeah, I'm open for it. I mean, sounds like a good plan to me. I think
you have big
spontaneous.
Yeah. Do you have big plans later tonight?
Sleep.
Okay.
At some point.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not talking about like midnight. I'm talking about like, you know, I'm going to eat a little bit of dinner, then let's jump on this thing. Because Martin and I go these Facebook Lives, and we get like 15 minutes here. The other night, I said, Martin, let's go Facebook Live. We went an hour and a half, I think, on Sunday night. So we're going to do a few of those. So make sure, Martin, tell these people, man, because you're more technically sound with all these different things. How do they find it?
Well, the key is they need to either like our page, like mine is Martin Houston Personal, and I think you logged in under Ryan Fowler, right? Whichever one
it's my personal
page.
account.
Yeah, so if they're following either one of us or like either one of us, they should get a notification. And when they get that notification, they just click on it, and we'll send out like a post, and I'll share it on your page and vice versa. And we'll let them know when we're getting ready to do it. We won't do it just, without some pre-warning. And then once we get really set, Ryan, we kind of have a set time that we'll do it, so that people can begin to kind of expect it sort of the same way they do. They know that the game happens from 2 to 6, and the Blitz is 6 to 7. We'll have it set up that way. But right now, you and I are learning and growing into
well,
this.
Hey, it took us it took us the other night. It took me a couple of times, and I kept going because Martin. Okay, for those who do not know, Martin begins at 6 a.m. But his Facebook show that is live, that he does, it's available throughout the day, and so Martin does his show every day. Not only on the airs, Tide 102.9 and 100.9 of the HD channel and the app and all that, he's also live on Facebook Live, which, Martin, you got a better face for TV than I do, man. I mean, this whole ugly mug I got, man. And see, it's deer hunting season, so I've even let the beard, like, out of control.
Well, it's kind of funny, Ryan, because people have seen me, but they've only heard you a lot of times if like, people from my show. And so they'll go, I've had comments like, man, if you let it be, just kind of let it go. I know that's normal. Well, I can now say, well, it's deer season, so it is about an inch longer.
Yeah, it's deer season. And I try to cover up. I mean, it's camouflage this time of the year. All right, Martin, let's get to this Alabama-Clemson game. Your thoughts as we approach this game. Here's the discussion today that we've been discussing here. We don't believe that there's a true freshman pocket passer that can beat Alabama. But if there's anybody can do it, this Trevor Lawrence guy's pretty good.
Well, he is, and I don't want to take anything away from him, Ryan, but what have we seen over the years? Somewhere along the way, these true freshmen run into something they just hadn't seen in college. Some get it early, some get it late. But I've not seen one in a long time get through without getting a freshman moment. And someone reminded me when I said that he had not had one, someone reminded me real quick of the Texas A&M game, okay, that Trevor Lawrence went in, they split time in the first half. Dabo came out in that second half, and he was going with Trevor Lawrence. And Texas A&M really got him and got him rattled. And they had to bring in Kelly Bryant, which I think is kind of ironic that he led them to that victory over the one opponent this year, and he's now no longer on that team. They don't win that game without Kelly Bryant. So he has had a freshman moment, and I think that's what Alabama's going to be able to do. I think they're going to give him some different coverages than what he's seen, and I think the speed in which they play, passes that look like they're open against, some of the ACC opponents that he's faced, or even Notre Dame. I was looking at each other just last night, Ryan. That pass that they throw to Justin Ross, that poor number 11, the kid who was a Navy player who wanted to get out of Navy because he didn't want that commitment and transferred to Notre Dame and starting, he's no Deontay Thompson or Xavier McKinney, and that's going to be the difference. So I think that Trevor Lawrence is good, but I think he gets introduced to big boy college football, really, I think for the first time for 60 minutes. He's had some highlight moments where guys were tough, but he hadn't had to go against what Alabama's going to bring for 60 minutes.
Martin, if Christian Miller, and I can give people some scoop here, Christian's not been able to do a lot of things in practice. It's kind of funny. They'll bring some of the jerseys. You walk out, they bring the black jersey out. Okay, the media, and we begin to kind of go crazy. And I think a lot of that, that they want them to certainly think, I don't know how much he's going to be able to give you. I think he'll play. Christian, knowing him, I think you'd have to tie him to the sidelines. I think you would literally have to strap him down. A fifth-year senior that is just giving Alabama everything that that in this opportunity national championship game, and I hate it for the young man. He's not going to be nowhere near 100%, but he might be able to give you some. How do they clean it up with is it Jamie Mosley? Do you drop Dylan Moses out there on those obvious passing downs and bring somebody else in? What do you do? Even fronts up on the front defensive line. What do you do to create pressure and not let Trevor Lawrence have all night to pick him apart?
Well, I don't think it will be as difficult as it would have been had we been asking this question with Murray last week, who I think the contain and his ability to get around and be elusive went way off the charts when Christian Miller went out last week. So whatever he's able to give, I think they'll do that in spots, not to get that hamstring and everything tired, Ryan. So I think you may see him be as effective as he would have been in the circumstance in which you're talking about third down. If they limit that and can keep him warm and keep that hamstring loose on the sideline, that may be all that he does, and that may be the answer to the question. But if he's not able to be a threat on third down, I think they do drop Dylan Moses down and then either go more with a dime and dare Clemson to run the ball in those third down passing situations, or they bring in one of the other linebackers that hadn't played a whole lot. But here's the thing, Ryan. This is the last game of the season. These kids aren't going to have to know anything else, okay? So whatever you give them for this week is all they have to know. So what it does is it gives you the ability to cram a guy with one, package or two packages. And where a kid may not be able to play all the packages because it's too much to remember, too much to learn, and he can't get good at it, I think you may see one or two of those linebackers. And it may be that they use a Noma in that situation because he only has to learn one package, or Cameron Latou because he's not going to lose his red shirt, and they can become really good because they don't have to know anything except for that package, because that's the only time they're going to have to learn it and the only time they're going to have to be in the game. So I think this coaching staff will have a plan, but man, with all the talent he has there, I just don't know which direction he's going to go.
Going to be a lot of fun. When you begin to look at this, and I want to go back, and as much as we get clouded into talking about Nick Saban. Hey, Martin, can you do 2 segments?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I want to throw this question to you. As much as we talk about success, it's with what Alabama's been able to accomplish. Dabo has been able to do it at a smaller, a different school with not as much tradition. And I think it's if Alabama wasn't doing what they were doing, how much time would we spend about what Dabo's been able to accomplish? And I want to go back just from your perspective. You got a chance to know Dabo from a leadership side of things. I want to come back on the other side, and we're going to talk more about, obviously, a friendship with Dabo, leadership-wise. You've watched him develop, and I know all you 92 guys are so proud of what he's been able to accomplish. We'll continue the conversation, and then I'm going to ask Martin Houston for one of those final predictions. He's one of our guests. Martin, go back, and for those who may or may not know, kind of describe Dabo and what he was able to do on y'all's team. Certainly a great leader here in Tuscaloosa. Talk about Dabo from your perspective.
You know, it's interesting. I would be lying if I told you I thought he would become the leader that he is in terms of the coach. But as far as a person, in terms of having a work ethic, in terms of enjoying life through difficult times, saw all of that. And those are the characteristics, Ryan, that has made him a great coach. He's disciplined. He's an overcomer. He's an uphill climber. All of those things, and then also just a fun guy to be around. And when you describe the Clemson program, that's kind of the way you would describe it. It's a very disciplined program. It's a very fun program, but it's also a group that has overcome and achieved at a higher level than expected. Dabo Swinney, in terms of giftedness, in terms of the football player, was a lot like me. He had some of the intangibles, but he didn't necessarily have all of the gifted speed and all of those things, but he was able to take what he had and maximize it. And to me, that's what he's done at Clemson. And to me, what he's done at Clemson, Ryan, you kind of alluded to it, is right on par with anything that has been accomplished, in my opinion, at any level or at any college. And I even said, if it wasn't for Nick Saban, or even with this, if he beats Nick Saban on Monday night, do you start to etch the outline of Dabo Swinney's face into the Mount Rushmore coaches? The guy would be playing, if it wasn't for Nick Saban, he probably would be sitting pretty good to win his third, if not fourth, national title. Because he would have beat anybody but last year, potentially, with the exception of Georgia. And that's why I say playing for his fourth and probably looking to win his third, if it wasn't for Nick Saban. So it's something to be admired. And to do it at Clemson, this is why I say I think Dabo, if he can have the longevity of Saban, Ryan, this Clemson is Michigan State. Saban never got Michigan State to this level. And I'm not knocking Coach Saban. I think he grew and he matured and got better as he went along, got better at LSU, he gotten better at Alabama because he continues to evolve. But what Dabo's done at Clemson is as good a job of coaching as I've seen at any level at any time period.
Martin, the conversation is the hay's almost in the barn, and I know Monday you'll be live on the air. A lot of people will be able to hear you beginning at 6 a.m. here on Tide 102.9. What are the keys to victory for Alabama?
Well, from an offensive standpoint, Ryan, I think Clemson, to me, football, basketball, sports is all about matchups, not necessarily which team is better or not. This week is a better matchup for Alabama than last week against Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's defense let us kind of play with our whole playbook and not necessarily play to our strength. I think Clemson, if they do what I expect them to do, their front seven is the strength of their defense. And it's going to force us to our strength, which is our passing game in 2018. And with that said, the weakness of Clemson is their pass defense. So they're going to almost force us through matchups and their strength to our strength. And I think that goes very well for Alabama. I do think you have to watch this, Ryan, and talk about a key matchup. I think the key matchup kind of that may get lost is how well is Lester Cotton able to play and pass protect against Wilkes and against those interior guys. I think if he's able to do that, Alabama's offense is going to have another stellar game. The other guys, I think, are going to do their job. They're going to be sound like they've been all year. Then from the defensive side of the ball, I know a lot of people gave Surtain a hard time, Ryan. I don't think Surtain was victimized as much as we think, as he was a victim of the fact that we were virtually playing past prevent defense. They backed him off and made Oklahoma go, just like we were taking 5 to 7 minutes on our offensive side. Guess what they were doing on offense? They were also taking 5 to 7 minutes because we were giving them the underneath route, but we were not going to let them get any explosive plays, and they just happened to go to Surtain's side the most. So I don't think he played as bad as we think, as much as it was that's the way they asked him to play. Keep everything in front of you. When he catches the ball, tackle him, make him go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and ultimately then to push off in the end zone, got him a touchdown. So I think, but this week I think he's going to have to play well. I think the corner's going to have to play well against the big receivers. And then I think it comes down to Quinnen Williams and company. You had it on your show, Brad Edwards said 112 is what Trevor Lawrence ranks when you get pressure on him without blitzing. We can do that. We're the best in the country at it. He's 112th against it. I think that decides the game. If Quinnen Williams is able to play at the levels he's played all year, and we get 1 or 2 holding calls hopefully early in the game, which will release him to play even higher as the game goes along, I think that's going to be the determining factor of the game.
Have you thought about a score? Where are you at?
I haven't put my score together yet, but I don't think this Clemson team, Ryan, is as good as the Clemson teams that we played with Deshaun Watson. I just don't think that from an offensive standpoint. Okay, defensively they may be as good up front, but not as good on the back end. And offensively, I think this Alabama team is far superior to any of the teams that Clemson has faced. So, yeah, they may be more explosive offensively, but I don't think they're as explosive. They're more explosive than last year, but I don't think as explosive as they were, the first 2 years. With that said, I think the gap is bigger than any of the previous games, and I think the Desert Man missed this one by just giving us a single score difference. I just hadn't decided how much Clemson's offense is going to score, but I think Alabama will win it by 2 scores more.
Hey, you heard what Coach Stallings said the other day. I mean, he's got a grandson. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yep.
What he said.
Yeah, I mean,
on the air.
Yeah, and Ryan, like I said, I think it's because of the strength of this Alabama team is offense, and the strength of Clemson is defense, but they're weak in the secondary. And I know you can't look at Texas A&M getting 400 yards and South Carolina getting 500 yards and mean that naturally is going to translate. But when it translates because it's a strength for your team, that's what we're talking about. Tua Tagovailoa was, to me, he was as healthy. Everybody talked about that ankle, Ron. I know his ankle may have been 85%, but Tua Tagovailoa was more healthy last week against Oklahoma than he's been any time since Tennessee, and he's probably gotten even more healthy. And when he's on, I mean, the kid really, go back last week, was 25 for 27, and the 2 that he missed were one deep ball and one where the guy almost tackled the other receiver. So he was virtually perfect. And I think you're going to see more of that against Clemson. And with that said, I just think this game is not going to be – I'm not saying we're going to jump out like we did on Oklahoma, but I don't think this game will be as close as everybody thinks it will be.
Yeah, and I want to go back real quick. So you brought up South Carolina a couple of minutes ago, and Jake Bentley, it jumps out to you. But they had 600 yards of total offense. They were 50% on third down. You just go through 32 of 50. 32 of 50, okay? If you gave Tua Tagovailoa passes, 50 passes, I mean, 32 of 50 is not great, Martin. I mean, it's okay, but it's not compared to the efficient guy that we've seen in Tuscaloosa. I mean, if you gave him 50 chances, I mean, he had 3 incomplete passes. He had more touchdowns. Listen, their secondary.
Right, it's not just that. What's the average when you look at 32 of 50? It's not just that he completed 32 passes and that he's not near as accurate as Tua. It's the fact that there was some big plays, missed tackles, and if you ask me, the thing that Tua's accuracy is what people talk about, but what's the effect of that accuracy is what you need to really focus on. The effect of that accuracy is when our receivers catch it. You and I talked about this with Jalen last year. Even when he completed passes, Ryan, he didn't always complete it where the receiver was in stride. So a 15-yard pass was a good completion, but it could have been 25 yards, if he had hit him in stride. And that's what Tua's accuracy does, is the play don't end when our receivers catch the ball. It's really the beginning of the play a lot of times where we're running across and away because we force everybody to be in man-to-man because we have so many weapons. When our guys catch it in stride, if that guy that's covering is not as fast and able to keep up with Jerry Jeudy or Ruggs or Smith, they're going to get another 10, 15 yards until the other guy falls off of his route, or they're going to take it to the house. And that's the part that Bentley did against Clemson. He only has one guy that's on the same level as Jeudy and Ruggs and Smith and, Waddle. We have 4. And so when those guys catch it, I just think you're going to see the receivers catch the ball in stride and have a lot of yards after the catch against Clemson's defense, both because they outrun them and because they don't tackle as well in the secondary.
Yeah, as you said, Deebo Samuel had 10 receptions for 210 yards.
Yeah.
Against Clemson's secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my heavens! Between you and some of the callers, man, I think I'm gonna jump in a car tonight, and I'm going to Vegas.
Well, don't do that. Okay. I would never never put my money on 18 and 22-year-olds.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying. I mean, between you and all the other callers, I mean, we don't even. Right. I mean, Clemson, turn the plane around. Turn the plane around.
Right. I told you, I always pick my games based off of we play our best and they play their best.
Yeah,
and I think the best of these two teams, Alabama, is at least 2 scores better. Now, don't get me wrong. Clemson is the second best team. And these are the best 2 teams in the country. And in my opinion, Alabama's the best team in the country. And when you look at that, Ryan, the question I've been asking on my show this week is the gap between Clemson and Alabama and the rest of college football, or is the gap between Clemson and the rest of college football, and then there's another gap between Clemson and Alabama? And that's what we're going to figure out on Monday night. It's going to really show, because what we've seen now, Ryan, is Alabama's been clearly out front since the beginning. And this defense, in today's time, you said it 5 years ago, in today's football, 17 points is like a shutout. Well, this defense, not playing full quarters, playing 2.5 to 3 quarters, just like Tua most of the time, has still only given up 16 points per game. And then our offense is averaging 50. Do the math.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
There's been a gap.
I'm with you.
Our defense has gone up 4 points in this pass-happy age from when it was the best down into 10, 11 points a game. Now we only give up 16. But our offense has gone from averaging 20-something to 50.
Yeah. Martin Houston, former fullback at the University of Alabama, very optimistic about Alabama getting the job done. Martin and I are going to jump on Facebook Live tonight. We're going to be doing a little fun show, and you can follow Martin. And I'm out of friend requests, so I'm maxed out. But you can follow me there. And if somebody drifts away, I can accept more. But I think I'm maxed out on the Facebook friends. But if you guys want to follow me there, Martin and I'll do something a little bit later tonight. Martin, I appreciate you, man. Throw it back to your agency, man. Talk about Alabama One.
Alabama One Insurance is the place you need to go if you're looking to compare, bundle, or save. Alabama One Insurance has the policies you need, whether it's auto, home, life, or commercial insurance. If you need it insured, we can insure it. You've trusted Alabama One Credit Union with your financial needs. Now trust us to protect what matters most in your life. Give us a call at 205-342-0112. That's 205-342-0112. Or visit us online at alabamaoneinsurance.com or visit the credit union at alabama1.org.
Martin Houston, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again for being a part of the show.
Appreciate it, man. Talk to you later.